lovely lot. So it's the first winning ways back after lockdown. Miss you, Jay. Miss you, Rich. Proper weird. Right, we are 2 metres apart, folks, aren't we?
We've had the measure out.
Maybe 2 metres and 2 centimetres. Anyway, so we're going to go over some little tips and that and this, that and the other. Then we've got some challenges to do later on, so we're going to be busy, folks. First thing we're going to go through, though, is hook lengths, isn't it, Jay?
Hook lengths.
He's made me proper sick, folks. You want to see how many hooks he's done in his lockdown.
It's
I've
beautiful,
done like
isn't
6, I think, maybe 7.
You pinch some of mine when I'm not looking.
Honestly.
But right, no, that's what it was, because that's been the thing, hasn't it? Over lockdown, it's been a massive well, everyone's prepping, aren't they? But a thing that most people are prepping, aren't they? The thing
I've
is,
been drinking and getting suntans and everything.
What keeps popping up was questions I was getting. You must have been getting them as well. Is what hook length should I be using for this, and this?
Bin. Yeah, no, it's us, mate. Proper.
So what we thought, that's what we're going to have is not focus on types of hooks and all that. I mean, that's for another day. It's
personal
length.
preference, isn't it? It's always been about
when it comes down to types of hooks, yeah. Definitely. Look, touching on that though, I did a couple of little things over lockdown that I think you can narrow it down. Yes, there's different types of hooks for different baits a little bit, but the way I look at things now for me commercial fishing is that I like a light gauge and a wire and an eye.
It's wire gauge and heaviness, definitely.
Yeah, so a light in both, wire and spade and an eye, and then the same in a medium gauge, innit? And that covers pretty much everything.
Simplify everything, don't you?
Make it easy, that's what we want. But yeah, that's what we're going to talk about is length, innit?
Yeah, man.
So we're going to start with the little diddy ones that I've been tying lots of and working our way up to what we do. Because there's sort of 3 or 4 bands of different hook lengths, aren't there, what you have them for?
100%.
So if we start little diddy, and these have been my little thing. I've dropped them already.
Dropped it already.
Come on, already.
Jay. Sort it out, mate.
In my little
do it here.
diddy ones.
Tangled already.
No, don't be daft. He's all good. He's beautiful. But your little hook lengths for your shallow and edge fishing.
Yeah.
Don't it? Either shallow when you're fishing 2 foot and less, maybe 2.5 foot.
Yeah.
And your edge fishing, same, innit?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, anytime you're 2 foot and 2.5 foot and less, that's when your 2s, 3s or 4-inch hook lengths come into it.
We don't just mean about obviously fishing on the bottom either, folks. Obviously fishing up in the water shallow, innit?
Whenever your rig is that long, regardless of whether it's on bottom or not.
Just talk us through why, Jay, because obviously my way of thinking is the longer it is, it's more sort of supple through the water, certainly when shallow fishing, innit? And then obviously when you're fishing on the bottom, again, that line's too supple. If your shots are too far away, you're not seeing the bite quick enough.
Exactly that, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Showing them bites up is probably the key thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
How close you get that last shot or bulk of shots to your float, to your hook.
Here's when we get asked all the time as well, though, Jay, and I know you've done it before, but putting shots on your hook length, you know, to get it down close, I see Daddy May do it all the time when he's like QM1 14s and all 20 straight through. I'm like, Dad, what have you got 2 number 8s like 2 inches from your hook for? Yeah. Watch it, son. Float goes like that. Doink, he's on.
It's about just showing the bites up, innit? I mean, it's time and a place for that, though.
Yeah.
When
it's still needed. Do that, Jay?
Only in the winter.
Right.
Now I just happily use a small hook length, but we'll touch on that when we go on longer ones.
Yeah, man.
That's more into that. So for down it, in fact, let's go shallow first.
Go on.
I mean, when shallow fishing, F1-y type shallow fishing, I mean, you're going to touch on mugging carp type fishing with a different type hook length.
Yeah.
But for F1's shallow, that's where your 2s and 3s, I wouldn't even use a 4. I mean, for F1 shallow fishing, you want a 2-inch or a 3-inch. And it all comes down to the size of your rig sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Because in that case, I've got a 2-inch on. And a 2-inch allows me to fish potentially, with the length of my float as well, 6 inches deep. Yeah, but my bulk's still in the middle of my rig.
You'd be amazed how many times, certainly when it's conditions are like this.
It's crazy, isn't it? How good
it is, and how good is it when like they're in reeds and you've got like poke your rig into it. You just like, you can be pinging, and then all of a sudden thump, he's on, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? It just allows you to fish stupidly shallow if required.
Like that, mate.
Yeah, and then again, if you need to fish 3-inch, maybe a little bit longer, if they're a bit more civilised, if they're 10 to 15, 16, 18 inches deep.
Yeah.
That's when you move 3, but it's all about that bulk. Yeah, it's how close you have that bulk to your hook is everything. Yeah, the closer it is, the better you see bites, but you also want your rig to be proportional at the same time.
Yeah.
Keep dropping it. That's not meant to live that rig, is it?
Mate, you know what I mean? You're just not used to holding rigs, are you?
I'm not, definitely not. But,
yeah, like
so the same mentality has to come into it for edge fishing.
Yeah.
Shallow edge fishing, or mudline, or mudline fishing as well, same sort of thing.
Yeah, man.
When you're fishing across something.
Look at that.
And when moving across
today, Jay.
I'm catching it on him later. He's been rigged without the edge later. But that sort of rig for your edge, again, when you're fishing in 20 inches or less, it's where you need your short hook lengths. It's where you need your Not so much 2 inches, I wouldn't say. I've never used a 2 inch really in the edge, unless I was at a weird venue with little tiny F1s and it was that deep.
Yeah.
Always want to be a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I always want sort of 12 inch, so I'll have a 3 inch hook length for sort of 12 to 15 inch, or a 4 inch hook length from
Like
15
that,
to 20 inch.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, but again, this is more so that the closer that shot is to your hook, within reason. You don't want it right in front of the fish's face and nasty, but you want it to keep your bait right in position when it's getting wafted about in that really shallow water. But at the
And
same
that's
time,
the thing, you hit it on the head there. It's keeping it stable and keeping that bait stable over the pile of bait. I mean, how many times have we done videos on it? It's so important.
everything, keeping it in place, isn't it?
And obviously, yeah, as I said, the further your shots are away from that hook, you're just not getting that presentation.
No.
Definitely not. So that's why you've got to go shorter.
Just keeps it in place and it just shows the bite up quicker.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
that. In fact, I don't want to touch on that yet, but I'll talk about that in a minute when you go on your long ones.
What's he keeping secret for?
No, I want to save it for that long rig. What I'm going to babble about
right,
with
go
that,
on, mate, go on.
what we saw. But yeah, you know what I mean, the quicker the fish moves that bulk,
Yeah,
the quicker you see a bite, the better it looks.
yeah,
So
definitely.
3 and 4 inch hook lengths for any time you're 20 inches and below. I mean, it's spot on, isn't it?
Love it, mate.
That's about it. So the next
I've got
one,
loads on. Let's talk. Should we go through muggies? Seeing who's like on a
Yeah.
bit
While
shallow.
we're
Let's
on
go
shallowy
through
water.
muggy ones first. I'm professional, folks. I've got mine on top kits. I've not got mine stuck in my leg because it hurts. I've not got any joggy bottoms on. So mugging rigs, right? So long hook lengths for me for mugging rigs, and the reason for that is I don't want to put any shot whatsoever. I just want it to fall as natural as possible through the water.
how big's that one?
That is 12 inches, 12 inch hook length. Fish dead heavy. It doesn't make a blind bit of difference. You're not. It's not so much sort of getting the fish there competing. It's literally as it suggests. You know, you see a fish, you put your bait to it. Fish sort of turns round and sees it and nails it. They're not interested in presentation or finesse or anything. So 0.22 mainline, 0.20 hook length, nice big strong hook. Everyone's got their own personal preference on what they want to use, you know.
Yeah,
If it's a little bit windy, I'd use like a big 8mm pellet to get the distance. But me personally, I like to use white maggots. When it's really bright and hot, white maggots and white bait. That's why meat works well as well for mugging bait, doesn't it, Jay?
Yes.
But 3 or 4 white maggots on a big hook, that's a 14's powerful hook. And then obviously the float wise, I like to use quite heavy float. This is 9 number 8's this one.
How many number 8s did it take then?
9. I put 8 on because I didn't have 9 in my box. I'm have to borrow one of you, Jay.
But it is,
But
that
it's
sort of rig that you're on about,
Yeah,
that's going from the F1-y type shallow rig where you need that bulk dead close
definitely.
to carpy shallow in it.
This is out and out carp. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're going to catch pretty much everything on it, but it's out and out carp. It's literally, when we've talked before about, you know, fishing sort of 14 to 16 metres and firing at the tip of your pole, not past it, but this is getting flicked past it, and this is what we're on about. Them bigger carp,
Yeah.
they always tend to back off. So this is why I've got a long bit of line on, sort of like a metre of line, pole tip to float, but more importantly, it's the float choice as well, you know, heavy so you can get out there, especially with the wind on. The whole rig, it's not going to be in there for longer than what, 8-10 seconds at the
Yeah, it's
absolute
an
most.
instant one that shows up bites
Definitely.
straight away. doesn't it?
Once that bait's at the bottom of the fall, so like literally you're swinging it out, it's falling down 8 to 10 seconds, that's it, it's redundant. You're looking to catch the fish as it's swimming through. It's not there to like be suspended in catching the fish that way because it doesn't look natural.
Yeah.
You're not going to catch him.
Yeah, your shot isn't required for showing bites up in that sort of, when you're using that sort of rig with your hook length like that, is it?
100%.
Right,
And obviously the reason I use that longer hook length rather than just using the short hook lengths and putting my shot up here is simply because them shots don't move. You know, there's a lot of stress and strain when you're netting these big fish, you know, they can move your shots up and down in your hook length, so obviously you're getting them in position all the time. So if you put it at the top of your hook length there, them shots can't move down, it's just a lot quicker, simple as that. You know, I don't think that, well, I know there wouldn't be anything wrong with using the short hook length and obviously putting your shots up here, but them shots, don't they slide all over the place,
Yeah.
or stops.
For mugging and carp in general as well, with that being what, 12 inches plus
Yeah.
4 inches,
Yeah.
that's about the right sort of depth, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Sort of 15, 16 inches. That's your carp shallow depth, isn't it?
Yeah,
You very rarely fish, you might fish more than that,
Yeah.
but you very rarely fish less than that.
That's
when
it.
it comes
It's
to
all about
carp,
seeing
so.
him cruising. That's where you're going to catch him. It's a proper rig, and I'm going to smash this bloke to bits today on this rig.
We'll have a go. So next one,
Next one, right? So we're going a bit deeper now, Jay.
well now we're 2.5 foot plus in it.
Yeah. So
In
anything
any
2.5
depth.
foot plus. I used this actual rig on Arrhenius today, folks. I've not even put it down the way on the winder or anything. Yes. And you can see, obviously, 6 inch hook length. Anything as we've said, 2.5 foot plus, 6-inch hook length. But look at the shotting, nice positive shotting. So there's got a few number 9 shots on there, 'cause it must be a
few
number 9 float. But again, it's all about keeping that rig nice and positive.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to use, like, this is like just over 4 foot. You wouldn't want to use a 410s or possibly a 412s float in this depth of water. If it was like a bit of tow in it, a bit of wind on it, you want it to be stable. But it's all about, as I said, that hook length. Anything shorter than that, the fish have got more time to inspect it, haven't they?
I don't know.
Oh, he's gonna throw
This
a
is
spanner
what
in
I
the
was
works.
gonna go
Right,
with.
that's getting javelined in over there.
That were me.
I've never done it, mate. I've never done shorter, anything over 2.5, 3 foot. I've never gone shorter than.
Yeah, it's just showing
Talk me
that style
through
of
it,
rig,
Jake.
not so much on the dropper rig, but that. It was that underwater one I did with Rob. And you see the curve in your rig that I'm always on about, and it's not until the shot gets moved that you see a bite, then that's in what, 4 foot.
Yeah.
So anything from 2.5 to 6 foot. It depends where you put that shot. Going back to what you said about hook lengths, where you put your shot. If I use a 6-inch now, I'll put a shot on it. I'm never ever, when I'm fishing in that way, do you know what I mean, that heavy, stable, setting your trap style rig.
Where are you putting your shot, like anywhere down here somewhere?
Yeah,
then?
somewhere
3, 4 inches?
between 3 and 5 inches away.
So obviously when the fish takes that bait, that's the first point of contact, and that's where you're seeing the bite a lot quicker.
But what I'll use instead, in the summer, just to prevent weakness, I'll use 4-inch hook length. Even in that depth, I'll use a 4-inch hook length. But it depends what you're trying to do. Do you know what I mean? If it was on the drop, I wouldn't. It depends whether your bait's showing up. When I'm setting a trap and sitting with 10-8 mils, do you know what I mean? That slow, patient stuff. It's about sitting there waiting, then I would.
You're getting the look, aren't you?
Yeah.
But no, honestly,
It makes sense.
Makes so much sense, Jake.
Honestly,
it
the
does.
biggest thing I took from doing that underwater thing
Right.
was that don't be shy. If you're fishing the right way, if the fall's irrelevant, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Either put one on, which I don't do in the summer. I don't know why I don't do it in the summer. I just use a short hook length because I think there's not as much finesse needed in the summer.
Yeah.
So you can have knots quite close.
Yeah.
In the winter, if I was fishing 010 for F1s with soft pellet, I'll have 2 number 8s on my hook length or 2 number 9s, depending on the size of my float. I mean, on a 6-inch.
So all these years, folks, Daddy May has been doing it right.
It just shows things up, isn't it? But no,
To be fair, yeah.
As soon as you-
He's on.
it shows what's going on.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's seeing everything on the drop. That's the thing. That's the issue with on the drop, is that you lose the sensitivity, or you see less. But it's how you catch loads of fishing. It's how you fish in it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
definitely.
You fish shallow and love
Yeah,
fishing through the
yeah,
water. So
yeah.
then you don't need it,
Yeah.
and you can get away with 6-inch hook lengths.
Right.
But for me, it's all about short hook lengths and that shot as close as you can possibly get. Do you know what I mean? Not silly. I mean, I wouldn't want a 3-inch hook length if I didn't need to fish right there.
So I'm gonna throw a right spanner in the works. Like when I'm proper carping, I like going again longer up lengths, folks, like you've seen on there, 10 or 12 inch, and like having my first shot above that.
But is that when the drop's important?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Comes
If the
into
drop's
that, doesn't
important,
it?
yeah,
Comes
then you've
into
got to
everything.
you've got to give a bit of leniency so your hook rate presents
You know
itself
what I
in
mean?
the
When
right
they're
way.
like real spooky
I know what you
fish.
mean when they're watching. Like,
And when you're lifting your float out, then dropping it on its side, and it comes back like that, and you get that.
and that's
ding.
when you get a bite. That's different, yeah.
Yeah,
You've got to work out what's best. If you're just sitting and waiting, then getting a bite, then having a shot close to or a small
gonna
link hook
see
looks
them bites
better.
a lot quicker.
Yeah, or if you're fishing through the water, definitely longer.
Right,
So, I mean,
right.
that's biggest thing is thinking about your hook lengths for that reason.
Definitely.
I mean, how the fish are feeding, and that's about it. But yeah,
And obviously, there's so we could go into. Well, we have gone into it depth, haven't we? Because we're professionals, isn't it? But
do.
obviously, there's feeder fishing, waggler fishing. Personally, waggler fishing, I'll always use sort of like 10, 12 inch hook lengths minimum.
how'd you tie them off? Do you tie them 12 inch? Do you tie them massive?
I time 12 inches.
Do you?
I know, obviously, I should time massive because then they do for like ledger bombs and all
Whatever,
that.
yeah.
But I don't think much like that. See, like, so I'll just do mine to 12 inches. No, they are my waggler ones, and then I'll do some feeder ones as well. But again, you know, we're just touching them feeder fishing, you know, traditional feeder fishing, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 foot up lengths sometimes, especially for like roach fishing with the bomb and all that. We could go so much in depth with it, but for like our style of fishing,
Yeah,
you know,
for your pole fishing,
the pole fishing,
that pretty much
susty,
keeps it nice, doesn't it?
Done
Yeah.
haven't we?
Yeah, using the right ones in the right situation definitely get you a few more balls. You see more bites. That's
Good
the key
luck.
thing.
Good luck though. Pan in, Rich. Pan in. Good luck trying to tie a 2-inch hook length though. my little finger here is just like it's just a pincushion. It hurts, doesn't it?
They're a little
But
bit
you know,
tricky,
you know
aren't
when
they?
you've done it right, because if you've done you've not done it short enough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of practice, but they are worth it.
Yes,
For special occasions, 2-inch.
definitely.
So yes,
I'm on a 2-inch here today, Jay.
more variety of hook lengths. That is the key lesson in today's video.
I'm gonna smash on 2-inch today, mate.